Welcome. I am Day, DAA. Those are my initials. I am a woman in recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. I have found that in my years of active recovery, that when I wake up, it is useful for me to affirm and devote myself to the me of my recovery, the one who ties all of the pieces of me together gently and lovingly to face each day. With these daily affirmations, reflections, and devotions, walk with me on the journey of renewal and self reflection. And remember that you are not alone. January 22. Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. January 22. Let's keep it simple. A few hours later, I took my leave of Dr. Bob. The wonderful old broad smile was on his face as he said almost jokingly, "Remember, Bill, let's not louse this thing up. Let's keep it simple." I turned away, unable to say a word. That was the last time I ever saw him. Alcoholics Anonymous, Comes of Age, page 214. After years of sobriety, I occasionally ask myself, can it be this simple? Then, at meetings, I see former cynics and skeptics who have walked the AA path out of hell by packaging their lives without alcohol into 24-hour segments during which they practice a few principles to the best of their individual abilities. And then I know again that while it isn't always easy, if I keep it simple, it works. Fair use. Courage to change one day at a time in Al Anon, January 22nd. I tried so hard to learn detachment. Living with active alcoholism was confusing, and the idea of detachment seemed vague. The alcoholic in my life was a relentless sleeper who fell out of bed almost every night. Feeling it was my duty. I would always help him back into bed. One night after attending Al Anon meetings for a while, I stepped over his body and got into bed, leaving him on the floor. Triumphantly, I went to my next Al Anon meeting and told them, "I finally learned detachment." "Well," they said, "that's not exactly what we meant. We meant detachment with love." I left that meeting with a new understanding that I put into practice the very next time my loved one fell out of bed. When I found him on the floor, I still didn't help him get into bed, but I did put a blanket over him before stepping over his body and going to bed myself. This to me was detachment with love. Today's reminder: with my higher power's help, I will keep a loving blanket of detachment with me. I will cover my loved ones with it, whether or not they struggle with a disease, keeping in mind that when I'm dealing with other human beings, I am dealing with the children of God. Detachment is not isolation, nor should it remain focused on not enabling the sick behavior of the past. Detachment is not a wall, it is a bridge across which the Al Anon may begin a new approach to life and relationships generally. Al Anon Family Treatment Tool in Alcoholism. Fair use. Just for today, daily meditation for recovering addicts. January 22nd, the School of Recovery. This is a program for learning. Basic text, page 16. Learning and recovery is hard work. The things we most need to know are often the hardest to learn. We study recovery to prepare ourselves for the experiences life will give us. As we listen to others share in meetings, we take mental notes we can refer to later. To be prepared, we study our notes and literature between lessons. Just as students have the opportunity to apply their knowledge during tests, so do we the opportunity to apply our recovery during times of crisis. As always, we have a choice in how we will approach life's challenges. We can dread and avoid them as threats to our serenity, or we can gratefully accept them as opportunities for growth. By confirming the principles we've learned in recovery, life's challenges give us increased strength. Without such challenges, however, we could forget what we've learned and begin to stagnate. These are the opportunities that prod us to new spiritual awakenings. We will find that there is often a period of rest after each crisis, giving us time to get accustomed to our new skills. Once we've reflected on our experience, we are called on to share our knowledge with someone who is studying what we've just learned. In the School of Recovery, all of us are teachers as well as students. Just for today, I will be a student of recovery. I will welcome challenges, confident in what I've learned and eager to share it with others. Fair use. Today, Emotions Anonymous. January 22nd. Reflection for today. Storm clouds are often ominously black on the bottom. They suggest rain, lightning, thunder, and what is generally considered bad weather. They also suggest eventual rainbows, fresh air, and healthy crops. Our problems are much the same. They are ominous to face, but if we can detach ourselves from them, they do not engender fear. Just as we can enjoy a thunderstorm by anticipating the peace and sense of well-being which is to follow, we can approach the problems we face with hope in our hearts. Sometimes we may need to take shelter during our storms. It makes no more sense to seek trouble than it does to go into a raging storm when it is not necessary. Meditation for today. Be my rain gear to get me through the storms I face. Today I will remember. This too shall pass, can be my weather report. I may not see the rainbow until after the storm. Fair use. Strengthening my recovery, meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. January 22nd. Step 4. without knowing the meaning of the abandonment encoded within the past. The adult child is doomed to repeat it. The unexamined past becomes the future of the next generation. BRB, Big Red Book, page 154. Many of us came from the other 12-step programs, and our experiences with the fourth step may not have been positive. Like medicine, it was something we took because we were supposed to. It didn't feel like an action of love, but rather like a listing of how we were defective people. We were confused by this, but we did as we were told. When we arrived at ACA, we may have carried the fourth step baggage and cringed at the thought of doing another one. What in the world could we be blamed for about our childhood? How could we be at fault? But we began the work anyway. We may have been confused when we started, but we soon saw that this would be a completely different experience. We answered the questions in the fourth step exercises, which gave us a well rounded view of what actually happened to us. We began to see the reasons why we act the way we do today and why we could not have turned out differently. This was an amazing discovery. We now believe with great hope that we can recover from the effects of our dysfunctional childhood so that we can leave a new legacy for future generations. The affirmation for today. On this day, I affirm my commitment to examining my past so that I can help change the path of my future and the future of those close to me. Please subscribe, like, share, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be.